Ayo, what's good everybody, Batboy1846 here, back with another live stream. I'm gonna be rating every gun in the game, basically. Kinda gonna be like tournament style, I guess. So we're gonna do it like, so it's gonna be like the best assault rifle, best SMG, best shotgun, best LMG, best marksman, best sniper rifle. Obviously not best melee, because it's only one. Actually, yeah, I will do best melee. No, I won't, because it won't be even. Alright, my bad. I'm super bored right now, so I kind of just chose something random to do. It's like, I'll do this. So, I also got new internet. I don't know if it's better or worse, I don't know if you can tell, but that's dope. I will be getting PS Plus again shortly. It ran out, but I'm renewing it in a couple days. So, for right now, I won't be playing online for a little bit. Not that it really matters, I don't live stream often. So let's get into it. So we're gonna do it like versus style with the guns. So let's start with, I'll do it. So the Kilo 141 versus the FAL. Clearly the FAL is better, but it's also a different thing. Because the Kilo 141 it's fully automatic, and has a fast fire rate. So people who are new to the game could be a little bit better with it. But the FAL, once you get going with it, it's good. So for right now, considering it can be a one-shot headshot, I'm gonna go with the FAL. M4A1 versus FR556, obviously the M4. The Odin versus the M13, obviously the M13. Now some people actually like the Odin. It's not bad, it's just a slow fire rate. So it's very unforgiving if you don't hit your shots. Sorry, just snapping someone real quick. The Scar versus the AK. You have to give it to the AK. A lot of people like using the Scar, but I definitely AK. Ram 7 versus Grau 556. That's a good match. Alright, here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Ram 7. Alright. Now a lot of you guys are probably gonna be like, that's dumb. But I just feel like the Ram 7's better. I use it more. I'm more comfortable with it. So I guess this is more my personal preference and not actual stats. Statistically, everyone and their mother knows that the Grau 556 is better. Just I don't use it and I don't like using it. So I'm gonna have to give it to the Ram 7. But it's a close one. It was close. The CR56 AMX versus the AN94. Definitely giving it to the CR56 AMX. The AN94 is good, and I like it, and I like playing with it, but it's just, it's not as good as the CR56. Currently, in my opinion, the CR56 AMX is my favorite gun. For right now. But that doesn't mean it's winning it. That's just for right now. So let's go into round 2. So we had the FAL versus the M4A1. Now that's a good match. Again, that's pretty good. And I'm gonna give it to the M4 just because it's so much more. I forgot how to like it's more like as it says all purpose. It's for like longer ranges, like it's just better, you know? And it's easier to use. It's not as unforgiving if you miss shots. Although the FAL does have the one-shot potential. The M4A1's easier to use, and everyone's lived by it. It's always going to be one of the greatest. Alright, and then it's the M13 versus the AK. That's also a pretty good one. I'm definitely going to give it to the M13. Some people are shaking in their boots right now for me saying that, but the M13 if you do it right and you don't fuck it up, it's alright. It works. It just works. The AK, I just don't like the feeling of it. I know they buffed it since last time I like used it, but I just no. I don't like it all that much. The recoil pattern is just uncomfortable for me. It's weird. Alright, and then it's the Ram 7 versus the CR56. Giving it to the CR56. It's such a good gun. So going into round 3. You got the M4 versus the M13. Giving it to the M4, clearly. The M13 isn't that good. And then it's the... Wait, what did I do? Oh, this is the CR56 is all by itself now. So then it's gonna be the CR56 versus the M4 now. Hang on, so a little technical. Well, not technical, but a little. Alright, so it's the M4 versus the CR56. That's like one of the hardest ones, but I'm giving it to the M4. Obviously, you guys would know that. Everyone that's seen this, they know it's gonna be the M4. Because who doesn't? That's pretty simple to me. The M4 is the best gun ever, basically. Now we're going into SMG territory. Got the AUG versus the P90. Gonna give it to the P90. I like it a lot more. The MP5 versus the Uzi. I'm gonna give it to the Uzi. Nah, I'm just kidding. MP5 clearly. The P90 versus the MP7. Or not P90, the PP19 Bison. Sorry, texting someone right now. But I'm gonna definitely give it to the MP7. MP7's the best, is my top gun in the game. Like I got the most kills with the MP7 as of right now. I think next up is the CR56, or it might have passed it already. I don't know. The Striker 45 versus the Fennec. Those are two awful guns. Two just not good guns. I'm gonna give it to the Striker 45 though, because the Fennec, it's too fast. You run out of bullets like, you run out of rounds like crazy, and it's just not that good. And like, sorry, taking someone in. But fuck, what was I gonna say? Alright. In Warzone, the Fennec is awful. The Striker 45 isn't bad. And in Modern Warfare, like campaign or not campaign, in online, like normal multiplayer, the Striker 45 is not bad, and the Fennec is also not bad. That's the closest one we've had, but I'm definitely giving it to the Striker. I think I over talked about that one. ISO will go on to the next round. Actually, I'll just do it right now. So it'll be the Striker versus the ISO. I'm again gonna give it to the Striker. They're both not very good guns, but the ISO is like the scar of the SMGs, and I don't like that. Next up, alright, we're going into round 2. So we got the P90 versus the MP5. Definitely giving it to the MP5. MP5's a crowd favorite. MP5's a crowd favorite. I don't like it because of that, I just like it. No. hold up. I'm back. So, what were we saying? It was PP-19 Bison. No, it's the MP7 versus the ISO. The MP7 takes it. Or, it was the MP7 versus Striker, sorry. So, MP7 definitely takes it. Kind of have Joe Biden sentences going on right now, not gonna cap. So that leaves it to the MP5 versus... Or wait. Yeah, it's the MP5 versus the MP7. I'm gonna give it to the MP7. It's more mobile. It shoots like an arrow if you really are used to it. Just the MP5 is... And the attachments are like... They're better for the MP7, I think. But that's not really a big factor. So far you had the M4 of all the ARs and the MP7 for all of the SMGs. Next we're doing shotguns, Model 680 versus the R90. Now that's a good one. I personally am more familiar with the Model 680, and I know it's not that good of a shotgun, but it's my favorite shotgun in the game. That's just how I feel. I know the R90 is good. So, it's a very close one, because I know the R90 is good, but this is going to take a little bit. This is like a tough one. Alright. My final verdict. I think it's the Model 680. Now, you guys are probably saying, oh, you're so biased. It's not because of that. It's because of the fact that it has the fire rounds. And the fact that it's so much more modular. If that's the word, yeah. You can have so many more attachments to make it move really quick, and in this one you kinda can't. You can kinda make it go quick, but this one you could make it a run and gun. So, I'm gonna give it to the Model 680 here. The 725 versus the Origin 12. 725. The 725 versus the VLK Rogue. Now this is another good one. I don't like the 725 at all, but I also don't like the VLK Rogue. Everyone who uses either are annoying. I'm gonna give it to the VLK Rogue, because the 725, if you miss those two shots, you're done. With the VLK Rogue, it's basically semi-automatic with how fast it shoots. So I'm gonna give it to the VLK Rogue, which means it's the Model 680 versus the VLK Rogue. They're both very good. I'm gonna give it to the VLK Rogue just because it has a faster fire rate, as well as maneuverability, and on top of that, it's also extremely modular as well. Along with that, you can use the fire rounds, or the shotgun round, or the fire rounds. So I'm gonna give it to him like that. So the best one is the VLK Rogue in my opinion. LMGs, we got the PKM versus the SA87. I'm gonna choose the PKM. M91 versus the MG34. M91. In my opinion, the M91's my favorite. Cause I'm more. It's not because it's good. It's just because I use it the most. Again, that's what I've been meaning. If I call something my favorite. The Holger 26 versus the Bruin Mark 9. Obviously, you guys know the Bruin Mark 9. Round 2, we got the PKM versus the M91. I'm going to choose the M91. Now, people have statistics that the PKM is better than the M91, but I just don't like the feeling of the PKM. I don't like the weight of it. I just don't like... I don't like much of it, honestly. It's just not my not my cup of tea for a gun. I just don't like it. The M91's better, has a better feeling. I feel cooler. Along with it has a better... I like its iron sights is more. Has better iron sights, and I think it has... it's not more modular, but I just like the feeling. So M91, it's my ranking. Doesn't matter. Next we got the Holger, or the Bruin Mark 9 versus the M91. I'm gonna give it to the Bruin Mark 9 because obviously, duh, everyone knows it's better, especially with the 60 round mags. Now we're going into the marksman rifles. We got the EBR versus the Mark II. I'm gonna give it to the Mark II just because it has more damage and it's a pretty fast fire rate. The Kar98 versus the crossbow. I'm giving it to the Kar98. Love the Kar98. It's my favorite marksman rifle. And then the SKS versus the Kar98. Giving it to the Kar98 again. The Mark II carbine versus the Kar98. I'm gonna give it to the Mark II carbine. I like the Kar98. I think it's the best, but I know for a fact the Mark II is better, just because it's easier for the beginners, and it does almost the same amount of damage, and it's a way faster fire rate. So I'm gonna give it to the Mark II carbine, the lever action, if you will. Sniper rifles, we got the Dragunov versus the HDR. Obviously, I'm giving it to the Dragunov. The AX50, no, I'm just kidding, I'm giving it to the HDR. But, the AX50 versus the Rytec, now that's a good one. I'm gonna give it to the Rytec just because it has explosive rounds, along with it has the same damage, but this is semi-automatic now. No, it may be slower, but I don't know. But I just think the Rytec AMR is better. So it's the HDR versus the Rytec AMR. I'm gonna give it to the fan favorite HDR. Everyone called it, you know. It's not like no one called it. Yeah, that's it. Everyone knew the HDR is the best. Now we got, this is gonna be like a weird thing, if you will. This is gonna come down to mostly personal preference because I'm comparing two classes. So we're gonna do the M4 versus the MP7. The M4 for sure. I'm definitely choosing the M4. The MP7 it's good, but it's not primary good. The M4 is extremely mobile. Not as mobile as the MP7, but it's still pretty mobile. So I'll give it it. Now we got the VLK Rogue versus the Bruin Mark 9. I'm definitely using the Bruin Mark 9. I don't like the VLK Rogue. I don't care if it's in a close quarters situation, I'll still use the Bruin. I don't like using shotguns, they're uncomfortable for me. Not only that, they're toxic, but not on that level. On any level, I'm saying is, I just don't like shotguns. I don't like using them. they're not my cup of tea. So it's not really because they're better. I just wouldn't use it, I guess. So now we're using the Mark II carbine versus the HDR. Now that's a good one. That's the closest one we have. So I like the HDR. So I'm gonna give it to the HDR just because it's better. It's better. So that's that. Next up we got the M4 versus the Bruin Mark 9. Which one would I use? Now this is a close one again. Say I'm in a Warzone match, would I either use the Bruin Mark 9 or the M4? I'm gonna go with the Bruin Mark 9 just because it has it, I think, on range. I'm pretty sure on range, and it's got a bigger magazine capacity. Even if you use a 60 round mags, it makes it more mobile. If actually, it's that, yeah. And then it's gonna be the Bruin Mark 9 versus the HDR. Definitely choosing the Bruin Mark 9. That's just how it is. The HDR, it's weird. It's an odd thing. So, yeah. So that's it. The best gun in the game currently is the Bruin Mark 9. In my opinion. I don't even like it that much. I don't like it all that often. I don't use it a lot either. I just know it's the best gun. It has the stats to show that it's one of the best too. So I'm gonna give it that. I will give it that. And then for second place, definitely the M4 over the HDR, but the HDR does come in third place. Fourth place is gonna have to be the Mark II. Just because of the way that actually no, I'll do it differently. I'll layer it by how I want it to be layered. So it's still first place is the Bruin, second place is the M4, third place is the HDR. Fourth place is the MP7. Fifth place is the Mark II, and the sixth place is the VLK Rogue. So those are the top 5 best guns in the game, in my opinion. By far. So, yeah. I've never really used the Bruin Mark 9, so I'm gonna actually use it. Let's get a good thing going on. 60 round mag, stippled grip tape, the Merc foregrip. I think that would be the best loadout. See, I don't even have any camos for it. I've never used it, I just know it's good. And even better, actually, I'll even pair it with the best handgun in the game. Whoa, they have knives. I never even noticed that. I guess I'll compare it with, compare all these too. So it's gonna be the X16 versus the 1911. I'm gonna give it to the X16 because it has better fire rate. Or not fire rate. I think it does have a better fire rate. Alright, I'm back. So yeah, the X16 versus the 1911, I'm giving it to the X16. Better, has more ammo and a better fire rate. The .357 versus the M19, giving it to the .357. Why did I say point? It's the 357, god damn, I'm an idiot. So I'm giving it to the 357 because, everyone knows it's better. It has way more damage, better range. You can make it snake shot. And then the 50 Desert Eagle versus the Renetti. Now that's a good match. I like the Renetti. It used to be my favorite, but they nerfed it. So if this wasn't before they nerfed it, it would have been the Renettis, but I'm giving it to the Desert Eagle. Way better damage and a fast fire rate for how much damage it does. It's kind of crazy. I'm gonna have to wrap this up shortly. My girlfriend will be coming over soon, so yeah, gotta get a quick wrap up. The X16 versus the 357. That's another close one. I'm gonna give it to the 357. It's just the one I prefer. It's the one Nope, giving it to the X16. I love the X16. I'm pretty comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with saying it's a good gun. I like the fire rate, and again, I love the ammo capacity. What does it have? It has a lot. Let's see. Yeah, it has like 15 or something like that. That's a lot. That's for sure. So it's the X16 versus the Desert Eagle. I'm giving it to the Desert Eagle. And I'll be making the secondary best attachments. And there we go. Let's make that baby gold. Look at that. Fire. Actually, I forgot. Let's just do something real quick. So this is my my Desert Eagle. Oh, gotta make it. This. Okay, gotta make it gold, but this is my Desert Eagle. This is the best one you can do in the game. If you saw my other gun guides, buy it. You would know it's the best. I won't do all this. Actually, maybe I will. Claymore versus frag grenade. Choosing the Claymore. I hate the frag grenade. Molotov versus C4, choosing C4. Semtex versus Thermite, I'm choosing Semtex. Proximity mine versus Thermite, choosing Thermite. Claymore versus C4, I'm choosing C4. Semtex versus Thermite, I'm choosing Thermite. C4 versus Thermite, I'm choosing Thermite. Flash versus Stun. I'm choosing Stun. Smoke versus Snapshot, I'm choosing Smoke. Heartbeat versus Stim, I'm choosing Stim. Decoy versus Gas, I'm choosing Gas. Stun versus Smoke, I'm choosing Stun. Stim versus Gas, I'm choosing Stim. Yeah, alright. So Stun versus Stim, I'm choosing Stim. I gotta go. It's gonna be here any second. So catch you on the flip. Peace out. Have fun.